Respectful greetings to you, thank you for watching. Let's begin by remembering that Jesus Christ wanted us all humanity to be wise, open-minded, careful, educated and brave. There is no room for indoctrination, brainwashing for stupidity. Let's discard the Old Testament from our Bibles and follow only the new one. Jesus' teachings and personal example: no more human oppression of any kind, zero tolerance for evil, corrupted and criminal psychopaths, regardless of who and what they are. The story of the extinct human species 500,000 years ago. Were the first men built by aliens. So this will shake the status quo, the crooked institution of religion riddled with corruption, lies, and various heinous crimes. Created the Dark Ages with the destruction of information, book burnings and more against Jesus Christ, like the creation of the killing machine, the Inquisition. Researchers in Poland have discovered the remains of a human species that lived 50,000 to 550,000 years ago. It is an unknown civilization, from the late Pleistocene and Holocene, whose sudden disappearance left room for many interpretations. Were the first men genetically transformed by extraterrestrials, as a sci-fi theory that makes waves on the internet sounds? Scientists have recently identified prehistoric stone tools found in Poland as some of the oldest ever discovered in the region. Researchers say the tools could be the definitive evidence of the existence of this extinct human species that existed 450,000 to 550,000 years ago. The tools were first discovered about 50 years ago in Tunnel Wielki Cave near Ojkow, Poland. Most of the finds were put into boxes shortly after they were discovered and then sent to storage. It wasn't until 2018 that scientists began working to find out exactly what the tools were and where they came from. The consensus among researchers suggests that they belong to an extinct human species. The mystery of the Tunnel Wielki Cave, describing what period the tools are from, also required scientists to revisit the cave, and in 2018, archaeologist Malgorzata Kot and her team began excavating the soil to collect more material to analyze. This work led them to the discovery of layers containing animal bones from the late Pleistocene and Holocene. This led them to believe that an extinct human species might have made the tools. This is because the stone tools were excavated from the same layer as bones belonging to those older periods, which means that the tools were most likely used in the same period as well. Kot says it is interesting that the people of that time lived in caves, where the temperatures were low and the humidity was extremely strong. The discovery is remarkable because it helps us once again close a gap in the timeline of human evolution, a timeline that scientists have been struggling to fill for decades. Perhaps future studies of these tools and the caves around the same area could teach us more about the extinct human species that once roamed our planet and better explain the origins of mankind. The unknown human species in Poland has sparked lively controversy on the internet. There are many who claim that archaeological evidence proves that we are dealing with the first men, a species created by aliens by genetically combining primates with alien DNA. This would also explain the mysterious way in which the first men suddenly became aware of their nature and began to practice agriculture and organize themselves in well-defined communities. The wheel, fire, the bow, the axe, and sharp objects would have been invented overnight by these primordial people. Of course, these theories must be viewed with a grain of salt, as none of the ancient alien theories have yet been scientifically proven. Doubling people's brains, external influence. Homo sapiens' brains eventually expanded from an average of 650 cubic centimeters 2 million years ago to about 1,500 cubic centimeters about 10,000 years ago, just before the Neolithic agricultural revolution. For researchers, the duplication of the human brain remains a real mystery. Throughout the Pleistocene, the epoch that began 2.6 million years ago and ended 11,700 years ago, the brains of humans and their relatives grew, with that of Homo sapiens doubling in size. Researchers believe they have found a viable answer. Archaeologists say that a major shift in hunting animals provides the best explanation for the extraordinary evolution of the human brain. If early humans specialized in hunting the largest animals, such as elephants, which would have provided fat-rich meals, as their numbers declined, humans were forced to turn to smaller species. We see decreasing prey size as a unifying explanation not only for brain expansion but also for many other transformations in human biology and culture, and we argue that it provides a good stimulus for these changes. In other words, once they stopped hunting large animals, they had to become more agile, and more intelligent, and this affected their brain development. It's also interesting that once they started farming, people's brains shrank a bit, down to about 1,300 centimeters. Till now no single hypothesis about brain evolution has stood up in the past, and says the Israeli researchers' theory also has many problematic gaps and assumptions. Researchers are not used to looking for a single explanation that covers a diversity of adaptations. It is time, we think, to think differently. What influence did the aliens have? There is another, controversial theory about the spectacular evolution of the human brain. Many claim that humans went from apes to consciousness with external help, their DNA being modified by aliens who allegedly visited Earth. The idea has, of course, no scientific support, but the fact that humans have progressed so much in such a short time is not something common. No other known species has undergone such a fundamental change as they all went through the same environmental changes. Modern man has parts of unknown DNA. According to specialists, a new analysis of the genomes of the most famous people of antiquity, the Neanderthals and the Denisovans, has revealed a link to an as yet unidentified ancestor of our species. The experts used a Bayesian algorithm that allowed them to explore a long period in the history of interracial reproduction of these species. This chronology appears to be incompatible with the genetic exchange involving the direct ancestors of Eurasians, who migrated from Africa 50,000 years ago. Instead, our timeline suggests an earlier migration that occurred at least 200,000 years ago, the study concluded. The study also found evidence of interbreeding between humans and Neanderthals, which may have occurred much earlier than previously known, about 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. This discovery will give humanity another boost in space exploration, and all my hopes are will pique the interests of the movers and shakers, that they finally will divert the trillions of dollars from the military-industrial complex into the space exploration industrial complex. This shift can leave this Earth and humanity in harmonious peace and with an intense focus on the new exciting and vast discoveries. Thank you for watching. God bless you.